We'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Fabian Meneses. I'm one of the assistant directors for the Transfer Opportunity Program. Feel free to continue to add your community college in the chat. But as a reminder, we will be recording this particular session and we will be posting it on our YouTube channel. With that being said, I'll pass it over to Alex.
Thank you, Fabian. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the College of Engineering webinar hosted by the UC Davis Transfer Opportunity Program. My name is Alex, and I am a Student Outreach Ambassador for the UC Davis Transfer Opportunity Program, and my pronouns are he, him. I am today joined by Yusuf, who is also a Student Outreach Ambassador, as well as one of our top assistant directors, Fabian, and Javier, the representative from the College of Engineering. Please use the chat for engagement and the Q&A feature to ask your questions. Next slide, please. So here is an overview of tonight's webinar topic. We'll start off by introducing the College of Engineering. Next, we will review the admissions and selective major requirements and review the transfer admission guarantee, also known as TAG. I will be joining you later for the student panel, and Fabian and Javier will be answering your questions. Towards the end, my colleague will review a few resources to wrap things up. But first, I will pass it over to the representative from the College of Engineering, Javier.
Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening for some of you. My name is Javier Gutierrez. I'm the first-year academic advisor in the College of Engineering, specifically the Engineering Undergraduate Office. It's so exciting to see you all here today. So exciting to see the mixture of different community colleges and institutions that we're, potentially transferring in from in the future as well. I have you for the next few minutes kind of talking about an overview of the College of Engineering, the different majors that we have here at UC Davis and COE, some of the resources that we have for you as a future student and a future Aggie, and how you can contact us in the future as well. So we can go ahead and go on to the first slide, Fabian. So let's talk about the College of Engineering as a whole. Right now in the College of Engineering, we do have 13 different majors, things from aerospace science and engineering, biochemical, civil and computer science engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and literally everything in between. So there's a large selection of majors that you're going to be looking forward to here at UC Davis in the future. All of these majors have their own unique processes and kind of things that they focus on. For example, computer science focuses on applications in artificial intelligence, banking, internet security. We have material science and engineering focusing really on exactly what that sounds like: rubbers, plastics, human implants, diamond coatings, materials for trains, cars, airplanes. Our chemical engineers focus really on chemical processing, packaging, plastics, oil well, and maybe the effects on the environment. Civil and environmental engineering is exactly what that sounds like. Focuses on building structures, bridges, dams, building, water, air pollution, a lot having to do with our human imprint on the environment. Biomedical engineering right there at the bottom is exactly what that sounds like. Focuses on tools that we use in the medical field today. So a lot of research about tissue regeneration, artificial limbs like prosthetics, and then medical imaging going along with that as well. Over on the bottom left side, we have biological and agricultural engineering, also exactly what that sounds like. Focuses heavily on food processing, crop production, biofuels, and overall, maintaining an efficiency as we go into the world of agriculture. Over on the far left, we have electrical and computer engineering, focuses really on power plants, power lines, computer hardware, wireless communication. A lot of times we'll see our students graduate and end up working or interning at places like PG&E, SMUD, all here within the Yolo or Sacramento County. And then finally, on the top left side, we have mechanical and aerospace engineering, working primarily with combustion, heat, cooling, autonomous cars, rockets, and obviously we have students end up working or going and interning for Tesla, Boeing, NASA, and different manufacturing companies across the United States, which is super exciting. All 13 of these majors have some sort of foundation in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. And a lot of these courses will have already been taken before you even step foot on campus at UC Davis in the future as a transfer student. So save those notes, save that experience that you have from these lower division classes that you're bringing in, because that's going to come back around, and that's really, really going to help you build that foundation and start off strong at UC Davis, something that maybe Youssef and Alex will talk about a little bit later in the student panel. But Fabian, we can go ahead and move on to the next slide. So the College of Engineering at UC Davis really focuses on hands-on learning. So part of the way that we do that is by actually taking you out of the classroom and looking at, opportunities for design teams and different competitions. So over here on the left side of the screen, we have Formula Racing at UC Davis. Bottom right side of the screen, we have our club and organization called One Loop. There are currently over 40 active different clubs, design teams, competition teams, or organizations currently active in the College of Engineering today. Everything from Formula Racing, robotics, propulsion, and rocketry lab is super, super popular amongst transfer students. Eco Car, Steel Bridge, the Team Chromoly version of Steel Bridge, and then Concrete Canoe are some of the ones that I like to highlight for our students. So a great opportunity to kind of get your hands dirty and get your feet wet with the world of engineering right when you transfer to UC Davis. We have a club fair that happens at orientation every single year, an opportunity for you to meet the representatives from these groups before you even attend your first day of class. Also a great opportunity to connect and network with people outside of the College of Engineering. You don't necessarily need to be a College of Engineering student to be a part of these clubs or organizations. You may be a part of the robotics club with somebody who's a psychology major in the College of Letters and Science. So that might be a way that you can kind of get your name out there, network yourself, and make friends and build that community on campus as well. So a really great opportunity. We can go ahead and go on to the next slide, Fabian. Another opportunity that we have for students is internships and study abroad. For some reason, there's this myth out there in the world, out there in the universe, that as an engineering major, and maybe even as a STEM major, you shouldn't study abroad. Maybe that's going to delay your graduation, maybe it's too expensive, or you can't do it. Your program won't allow you to do it. That is not the case here at UC Davis. And if anything, it's the opposite. We encourage students to pursue study abroad programming and just opportunities to get out there and experience something different. So one of the most popular programs that we have within the College of Engineering is the thermodynamics program that takes place during Iceland during the regular academic year. So on the left side of the page, that highlights the team that went out a couple of years ago. I believe this was a pre-pandemic photo, but it's a great opportunity for you to go in, maybe get collected with other students within your major and kind of make this trip together overseas. And we offer, study abroad programs in a variety of different countries. Feel free to work with us and talk with us when you actually get here to UC Davis. We'll talk about a few of the programs that we offer in College of Engineering in partnership with the Global Learning Hub here at UC Davis, and making sure that those classes that you're taking abroad actually transfer over and will still be applicable to your engineering degree here at UC Davis. Internships is also a really big piece of UC Davis as well. Being able to get out there and maybe meet some representatives from these different companies that you may be interested in. We have a really great resource at UC Davis called the Internship and Career Center. They are really the specialists when it comes to putting together these large-scale events, and even the monthly newsletter, which I highly recommend you all look into when you transfer to UC Davis in the future, about all the engineering internship or career fairs that we're hosting on our campus. So we're inviting a variety of different opportunities and companies for you to learn about, folks from SMUD, PG&E, Tesla, Boeing, Chevron, and everything in between. Just an opportunity for you to come together in a large internship format, in a large internship fair format, I should say, and meet all these representatives, learning about, hey, what does an everyday as an intern for your company look like? Is this a paid opportunity? Is this an unpaid opportunity? How many interns are you bringing in? Is there an option for full-time employment once my contract ends, and everything in between? Your major departments and your major advisors are also a really good resource to use as you start moving through your academic careers at UC Davis and preparing you for graduation and life post-graduation as well. Going on to the next slide, Fabian. One of the things that I want to highlight today is the Engineering Student Design Center, brand new from this last academic year. This is kind of the equivalent of like a maker space or a creator space that you all may be having from your previous colleges or universities. It's a wonderful state-of-the-art a center that offers a variety of different ways to get involved, maybe even for design teams, clubs, organizations. If you ever wanted to go in and have a safe space under the guidance of professionals to work with things like, I don't know, high voltage batteries, heavy machinery, having open and spread out design and fabrication spaces, 3D printers, and everything in between, the Engineering Student Design Center is the perfect resource for our College of Engineering students, and sometimes being used by students outside of the College of Engineering on a case-by-case basis as well. But this is going to be unique to our College of Engineering students, making sure you have an opportunity to utilize this during your time at UC Davis. Also sharing the space with the Engineering Student Design Center is the Student Startup Center. The Student Startup Center is an extension of the Student Design Center. It is primarily designed for students who maybe want to start their own companies while students at UC Davis. It's an opportunity for students to network with representatives from these companies, maybe even alumni of UC Davis that have donated this space to the university, just to learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship, leadership skills. This is also where the Engineering 98 seminar course takes place. So if you want to come together with about 30 other students and hear UC Davis alumni who started their own companies or started their own businesses while going through the College of Engineering at UC Davis, the Student Startup Center is going to be a great resource for you to utilize when you're at UC Davis in the future as well. So very exciting things happening on the south side of campus. Going on to the next slide. And advising at UC Davis. Advising is a big piece. Now, advising at UC Davis is a little bit different than, maybe your previous community college or university. Advising at UC Davis is primarily cut into two separate pieces of pie. Over on the left side is your major departments, also known as your major advisors. These are the specialists when it comes to your university degree, whether that's computer science, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, material science, or any one of our 13 majors that you end up selecting as part of your admission application. Your major advisors will primarily help you out with your major requirements, any registration holds that may go up on your account for mandatory advising, different research or internship opportunities, or maybe even connecting with the faculty member who specializes in thermodynamics or aerodynamics or aeronautics or robosub or aeronautical sciences or whatever the case may be. Course petitions, faculty advising, prerequisites. If you feel like you have a course from a previous institution that you know might count for a course here at UC Davis, your major departments and your major advisors are the folks that you're going to want to meet with in your first year just to get those items squared away. On the other half of this chart is the Dean's Office Advisors. That's my team over in the Engineering Undergraduate Office. There's a team of about 7 of us that work out of the Engineering Undergraduate Office. We primarily work with students through exploring different majors within the College of Engineering, exploring different college and university petitions, whether you're submitting a simultaneous enrollment petition or general education credit petition and anything in between. Any academic difficulties, if you find yourself struggling adjusting to the quarter system or the speed of UC Davis, and you need to get connected with some study resources, tutoring resources that are in the library, maybe even make referrals to student health and counseling services. We can help you out with that. Late actions, if you miss the deadline to drop a class or add a class, degree checks, making sure your university requirements, your College of Engineering requirements are all in check. Readmission, if in the case that we need to take a break from UC Davis and reapply at a later time, we could help students out with that. And then our first year group advising holds, that really doesn't apply to the population that we have in front of us today. There is some overlap, though, between the Dean's Office advisors and the major departments advisors, and that's right here in the middle. We all provide care and support for our general students that we're working with, referrals to other offices, helping with general questions in academic planning, and we all have peer advisors that work out of our offices. So peer advisors are typically upper division students who've already been through the ringer of UC Davis and know what to tell you, how to help you transition to the university to make this transition as seamless, as simple as possible. We also offer express advising Monday through Friday, year-round, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So every single day, there will be an opportunity to speak with an advisor. If you are not on campus and you can't come into the office, we do offer virtual express advising for our students as well. Going on to the next slide, Fabian. And just to kind of wrap us up, to help you succeed, I see and work with a lot of transfer students year round. The biggest piece of advice that I can give you is to take ownership of your education. This is going to be your bachelor's degree at the end of the day from the renowned university that is UC Davis. And you need to treat it as such right before you get up to the university, right when you get accepted, and even before then in the application process, as you're writing your statements, as you're finishing off your classes right now at your current institution, that is part of the ownership of the education. And that starts very, very early. And you need to sustain that throughout your entire academic career at UC Davis. Also, prepare for your lectures and talk to your professors. Again, something that can be applied to your current institution right now. I work with a lot of professors throughout the years, and they're regular people just like you and I. They go to the same movies we do, they listen to the same music we do, they maybe indulge in the same TV shows. The only difference is they've been in this industry for a very, very long time, and that could be your pathway into a research or internship opportunity that you're really, really interested in the future. Also, take advantage of resources like free tutoring in the library, counseling services that are over in student health and counseling, or hardship assistance if you need help finding food or housing resources. Those are all free resources here at UC Davis that we want to make sure that you're aware of and you can utilize throughout your academic career. And then form a support network between your professors, your TAs, who are your teacher assistants, your advisors like myself, your friends, and your family. It's going to take a team to get you across that graduation finish line at UC Davis, and we want to make sure that you're supported not only by us advisors, but everybody in your world who could provide that support as well. And then finally, don't assume that things are going to be the same coming over to UC Davis as it is at your previous community college or university. A lot changes, not just your environment, not just the kinds of classrooms that you're taking, but sometimes the academic policies, where you find friends and community at UC Davis might be a little bit different. So don't assume anything's going to be the same. Always ask for help, always ask for clarification. If you don't know where to get started when you get here to UC Davis, we are a good first point of contact. We are part of the engineering undergraduate office. Contact information at the bottom of the screen right there. We're in Kemper Hall 1050. A lot of your classes may take place in Kemper Hall. We're on the first floor on the south side of campus. Our engineering UGrad email address, phone number right there. Feel free to reach out to us right when you get accepted into the institution and start asking us questions and plugging away. And we're here to help every step of the way. Even if we're not the people that have the answer to your question, we probably know somebody on campus that does, and we can make that one-to-one referral. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. Come to us with whatever you need, and we're super excited to maybe see your application in the future. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Fabian.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Javier, for starting us off and providing that amazing information to our students. But yes, definitely nurturing those relationships now with your current faculty and professors, tutoring centers. So getting into that habit early is extremely important. So let me go over the logistics of what you're going to need to even transfer. So these are the minimum general admissions requirements to be considered a junior level transfer across the UC system. So to be eligible for transfer admissions to UC Davis, you must first meet the minimum UC subject and scholarship requirements. So in regards to units, the minimum unit requirement for junior level applicants is 60 semester or 90 quarter units of UC transferable credits. Some campuses may allow students to be considered for less than 60 units or 90 quarter. But if you want to be competitive, you should be prepared to reach junior level standing, which is 60 transferable units. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to highlight would be your GPA. So the 2.4 GPA is the minimum GPA to be considered for admissions across the UC system. But some campuses have a higher GPA requirement, like us at UC Davis. The minimum to apply is the 2.8 for all non-engineering majors. But if you're interested in engineering, it would have to be the minimum is a 3.1 GPA. And to be competitive as a transfer student, you must strive for the highest GPA and the completion of all of your major preparation coursework so that you're prepared to transfer in. Please note that TAG, which is the Transfer Admissions Guarantee, has a higher threshold of criteria for general admissions. And again, I will be reviewing TAG requirements later. I've noticed a few questions come in, so just bear with me. The other area that you need to complete is the 7-course pattern. So this includes 1 course in mathematical concepts, 2 courses in English composition or critical thinking, and then 4 courses in other transferable courses from the areas of arts, humanities, social behavioral sciences, and then physical or biological sciences. So there's a couple of terms that you'll hear throughout your educational journey. So every campus has majors that have specific coursework or a specific GPA that is required for admissions. Some of these majors vary by campus, but some of them call them selective majors like we do. Some campuses out here call them capped majors. This just basically refers to the majors having more above the requirements. So if you're applying to UC Davis for a selective major, which all majors in the College of Engineering are, you must make sure that you'll complete all of the required coursework by the end of the spring of the last spring term at your community college. Summer coursework will not be taken into consideration to determine admissions. So let me repeat it again. All courses that are required for admissions need to be completed by spring term before you start at UC Davis in the fall if you are admitted. Major GPAs must be met at the time of tag and also the general application. So for example, if 1 course out of the 3 have been completed by the time the application has been submitted, the grade must be at or higher than the minimum GPA of the entire course group. And we'll add a couple of the links in the chat in a bit. So here's some steps for preparation. The first thing that I would encourage you all to do is look at the UC transfer admissions requirements. Start to select which UC you're interested in. Next, you need to consider, is my major considered capped, selective? And if the answer is no, then just focus on completing the minimum requirements for admissions. If your answer is selective or capped, then again, start reviewing the required courses to make sure that you meet the GPA for the major. Next, another thing to consider is my major available to guarantee my admissions into that institution? If the major is not open to tag, then you could just work on the minimum admissions requirements. If it is open to tag, then just be mindful that you'll complete additional requirements to meet the tag eligibility. So here's an overview of some of the areas of study. So while UC Davis offers about over 100 undergraduate majors, about 34 of them are considered to be selective. So if you're interested in a major that's on this list here, you must pay close attention to our selective major requirements and really prioritize completing certain coursework. So before we'll dig a little bit deeper, before we go into these individual majors, but just keep in mind that you could utilize resources like assist.org. And if a course is listed that is required for admissions, but it's not, no course is comparable to it, or the course is not articulated, then we will waive it for admissions at UC Davis. So again, please make sure that you utilize these resources throughout your time. I noticed a question in the chat, so make sure you add it to the Q&A so I could go ahead and answer them towards the end of this webinar. So all College of Engineering majors require the set of courses listed here, but each major will also have additional requirements that are unique to, so it's important to check our website for major requirement details. I'll drop the link for the College of Engineering in a bit, but just keep in mind that the minimum GPA for general admissions for engineering is a 3.1 overall in all transferable coursework and a 3.2 in major specific requirements. If you're interested in guaranteeing your admissions, then the GPA requirement is higher, and that is a 3.5 overall, and then you need a 3.5 in your major specific requirements. I'll talk about the most popular major that I've seen throughout this week at various transfer fairs. So all majors except computer science and data science are open to guaranteed admissions. All students interested in applying for computer science, the major, can apply through the regular admissions process by submitting their UC application by the December 2nd deadline. The minimum overall GPA to be considered for computer science is a 3.1, but students must also achieve a minimum of a 3.4 in their calculus series and required computer science coursework. So you've heard me mention a couple times about the transfer admissions guarantee. So that's called TAG. There's 6 UC campuses that offer the guaranteed admissions to students who meet specific criteria. You will work with your community college counselor to ensure that you're meeting the criteria. You could only submit a TAG application to just one of the 6 participating colleges. The filing period is actually in September. So for those of you that are interested in applying, you have a couple more days. The next step would be to submit the UC application. I forgot to update it here, but it would be October 1st to December 2nd is the deadline. So for Davis, here's a breakdown of some of the eligibility. Students need to meet at least 30 semester units, must complete 60 semester units, and aim to have earned at least 30 semester units from their California community college. Their last term at a community college cannot exceed the 19 units. The other key thing to keep in mind is the minimum GPA for TAG now has been raised beyond the minimum for general admissions. So again, for the College of Engineering, you're going to need a 3.5 overall and a 3.5 in your selective major requirements. The term is SMR. The second thing would be obviously having the minimum requirements, so 2 English, 1 math, and then 4 courses in at least these subject areas. And you also should be enrolled or complete at least 30 UC transferable courses. And then your last session should be a California community college. So I'll highlight a couple of more regarding the TAG requirements. So there's certain majors at Davis that are considered selective, again, that require a little bit more. You really must complete both the selective major and TAG requirements, and making sure that you achieve the highest GPA possible. So I'll highlight a few of the situations that are precluding eligibility. So for students that are currently enrolled in high school at the time of TAG, so for example, if you're a senior now, you would not be eligible for TAG. You would move forward with a general admissions application for first year. The key word here would be, when did you graduate high school? And if you enrolled in a traditional term like fall or spring, then you may be considered a transfer student, okay? Another key thing to keep in mind is that students who have earned a bachelor's degree or already have a graduate or professional degree are not eligible for TAG. And then students that were previously enrolled at a different UC campus, or for example at Davis, and that they were not in good academic standing when they left that UC, are also not eligible for TAG. And lastly, students who were enrolled previously at UC Davis decided to withdraw and attend a California community college. They too would not be eligible for TAG. So TAG is really exclusive to California community college students. So with that being said, I would love to invite our student panelist. You mentioned you met them earlier, but I'll have them reintroduce themselves. So Alex, go ahead.
Oh, perfect. So hi everyone. Again, my name is Alex. I'm a resident senior computer science student at UC Davis. And my current interests are in AI and web development.
Oh, awesome, thank you. How about you, Yosef?
Hello, everyone. My name is Yusuf. I transferred from Diablo Valley College in 2022. I'm currently in my fifth year, but I'm going to be staying only until the fall quarter. And my current interests are enterprise software engineering, machine learning, and AI, and just like learning as much as I can.
I love that. So the first question I have would be, what made you choose your major? Like, was there something that sparked your interest? Was it a show that you watched? Was it somebody that had that experience already? Yosef, did you want to go first?
Sure. Um, I guess when I was a kid, I did a robotics workshop where we like played around with Lego Mindstorms, and I found it really interesting. So that kind of maintained my interest in CS, and then I continued with Scratch, which is like an online platform for like it's not exactly coding, but it's like drag and drop blocks that simulate programming. And then from there, I continued into high school and just taking um, the high school programming courses, and I continued that through community college, and now we're here.
It's sometimes something as simple as, like playing a game or like it starts to spark your interest and really highlight um, maybe a particular field that you're interested in, because when it doesn't feel like work, then it's much better. It feels better. But how about you, Alex? I'm just curious, what made you choose your major?
Right. So, well, one of the main reasons of why I actually chose computer science was because I really wanted to be part of the latest innovations, like mainly, well, in the world, but especially in the tech industry. And as you know, AI has been revolutioning the latest changes in every single industry. So I definitely wanted to be part of it.
And I think that that kind of touches what we adjust our education majors or areas of emphasis according to the industry, because we're no longer, doing some of those things that we used to say that were groundbreaking back then, but now we're like in a totally different atmosphere. I wanted to ask you both, what clubs, organizations are you part of or currently at UC Davis? And or maybe interested in joining that you could highlight to our peers. Alex?
So that's definitely a great question. So I'm currently part of one single club, which is the Japanese Student Association. And the thing is that I'm not Japanese and I'm not American either, but I decided to join because it was a really cool social club that I wanted to try out. And that's one of the things that I mainly recommend to new incoming students, and is to try out like and join as many student organizations as you can, so that you can find your own community. Here at UC Davis, we have 800 plus, which is awesome. And aside from that, when it comes to more major related clubs, I'm planning on joining. I'm really interested in one of the clubs called AgiWorks, that is focused on creating products specifically for people at UC Davis. So I think recently they developed an app where you can find a perfect roommate for you, where you need to fill out like a kind of form, through AI recommender systems. They recommend you different people that also sign up this form, which is really cool. So definitely that's one of the clubs that is in my range of interest right now.
That sounds awesome. How about you, Yosa?
Yeah, kind of like what Alex mentioned. It's important to participate in both social and professional clubs to have about the best of both worlds. Last year, I was a part of Code Lab, which is a similar club to AggieWorks. And on there, I worked with a team of developers and designers to create an internal email tool for the club's marketing board. Um, so it helped them cut costs on using, or it allowed them to send emails to their students on the marketing list while not having to pay for something like Mailchimp to send the emails for them. So that was my main project on Code Lab.
All I heard was more emails. So I got a little nervous, but I'm glad efficiency is the key to getting some of that information out.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you both also, are there any resources that you advise for students to take advantage of while they're at their community college, or any clubs, organizations? Alex, did you want to share?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, well, to start off, definitely, well, the main resource when it comes to, to related to academic things is mainly going to office hours and like having a big network of like with your faculty members at your community college, because they can actually recommend you. Probably they can write letters of recommendation to you, but in the same time they might be able to help you in the future when it comes to looking for full-time jobs or even off with internships. Another big resource that is available in community college, well, that I had available once I got accepted by UC Davis, was Avenue E. For those of you who might not know about Avenue E, it's basically a transfer community for engineers at UC Davis, where, well, they provide academic resources. They also provide help, economic help. Uh, they provide you like with I think scholar stipend, where they mainly give it to you if you come to the program called Transfer Bridge, which is about like in the first, well, 2 weeks before the start of classes in September, where you get to spend 1 week on campus and work on Arduino project, where you need to build like well, something related to cars, uh, implementing some different softwares. And I believe that resource was awesome because I got to meet a lot of amazing people in there. I got to have my community even before coming to UC Davis, which it's really good, since as a transfer student, initially it can be a little bit intimidating when you're transferring to such a big institution such as UC Davis, where like at first you might be a little bit lost on where you can actually find people. So definitely meeting people in that program actually helped me a lot.
So just meeting people in like your areas of interest. And a key thing that I wanted to highlight is that UC Davis has about 800 clubs and organizations. So you will find your community, not only through your major, through your peers, through living communities, through areas of interest. It really breaks down that the college experience is really what you make for it, right? Like what situations or opportunities do you put yourself in? Yusuf, did you want to add to that?
I guess one resource that they could take advantage of is obviously the advisors at their community college on top of the top advisors. It is important to use both of them to kind of guide you through your transfer journey. And then also one opportunity that you can take advantage of is research experiences for undergraduates. There are certain programs that only accept community college students. So it'd be a great way to gain experience that's relative to your major, and also help strengthen your application and your readiness to switch to the UC system.
And speaking of switching to the UC system, I'm just curious about how was your transition between, can you highlight maybe what's the difference between the quarter and the semester system, and how was that transition for both of you? Alex?
Well, in my case, my community college was already in a quarter system. The only difference was that it was actually 12 weeks instead of, I think it is 10 weeks at UC Davis. Well, one of the main advice that I could actually give to new incoming students from semester systems is to actually keep up to date everything. Like as soon as this class start, if you can already can get familiar with the material of all of your classes, I think that should be a great help for you to succeed in your classes. But in the same time, the quarter system also have some benefits. For example, in the semester system, you might be down to like procrastinate, while in the quarter system, you kind of have to like keep up to date to the midterms, because we have midterms like starting from the first month. So that in some way, the contents covered in those midterms might be smaller than the ones than the midterms that are in the semester system. Since we have less time, we also have less content.
I agree. For me, it was quite the adjustment. I ended up on academic probation my first quarter, but I learned my lesson. How about you, Yosef?
I think Alex pretty much covered it, but I think one like positive spin to the quarter system is that you're able to cover more courses in the same amount of time as the semester system. So that way you can learn more in the same amount of time compared to someone going to a semester system school. So that's like kind of like the positive spin for it. But of course, that does come with challenges. But as long as students lean on their community and lean on different resources, the adjustment isn't too hard, or the adjustment isn't hard at all. Yeah.
A key thing that I always share with my students is that the quarter system is basically a preview of like a summer school class over the semester. So the quarter system is about 10 weeks. A summer school class, in most cases, in most institutions, is about 8 weeks over the summer. So if you think about it, that first week is like, what is my name? Here's the book. Let's start the assignment. And then the last week is really your final. So you're really just learning in those 8 weeks. But thank you both for sharing that. There's a couple questions. Let me see here. Okay. So how has your time as an Aggie impacted your life? Alex, did you want to start us off?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, well, by being an Aggie, I think it impacted in a very positive way my life. Uh, First of all, I'm really glad that I was able to make use of a lot of the many on-campus resources that we have here at UC Davis, knowing that all the minorities are correctly represented. We have like a lot of student resources, like in our student community center too. And in my case, even though I'm a CS major, I also have a really big interest into entrepreneurship. So I have been going a lot to one of the, in my opinion, one of the biggest communities, which is the Student Startup Center that Javier highlighted before, where you can actually take classes to, and also you can also do a lot of networking.
And again, you have to put yourself in those opportunities, get out there and like meet new people, join clubs, organizations, say yes to the invitations. And if you don't like it, go home early. But the point is that you're trying to get out here because at the end of the day, your college experience is what you make of it, how you want to have that time. Yosef, did you want to add to that? How has your time as an Aggie really just impacted your life?
Well, I guess for me, being an Aggie is part of like fulfilling, I guess, part of the American dream, if that makes sense. I immigrated to the US in 2012, and going through, I guess, like I don't want to say that I didn't have as much guidance when it comes to college, but I realized that the path to college was a lot different for me than it was for other people that grew up here and were getting advice from their parents and from their relatives and people in their community. So being able to go through the community college route allowed me to become an Aggie and to take advantage of the many resources that UC Davis has to offer, which is something that I'm eternally grateful for.
Thank you for that. There's a question from one of our students about any advice or tips for transfer students that are interested in a specific major. So for example, CS, or I'm just going to open it up to engineering. Any advice or tips you have for transfers? Alex?
So, well, that's a really good question. So I would start by definitely joining CS clubs. I feel like CS clubs are definitely the best way to get hands-on on real experience when it comes to developing real products, such as, well, the ones that we have already used to Davis. In the case of Code Lab, Joseph knows that, well, they are currently working with the startups that are here in Davis, and in Aggie Works, they developed real products for UC Davis students. So that's definitely one of the best things that you can do. to start off, so that you can have like some experience, something that you can put in your resume. Following that, I would start by also looking for unpaid internships, or even if you're able already, internships in big techs, because that kind of can boost you in your career and make you ahead once you graduate from your bachelor's degree.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. How about you, Yosef?
I guess one thing that community college students can do is also put in work, or sorry, to create personal projects aside from their coursework. Because the coursework obviously lays down the foundation for what CS is, but you can use personal projects to kind of explore your interests that are built on the fundamentals. And similarly, you can also participate in hackathons where you work on producing a product that has a tangible business or community impact. So again, those are two very important experiences that you should have as someone aspiring to be a software engineer, or someone going into the tech field.
Absolutely. And I think you highlight a really key thing here is start um, start with what you find interesting. What is sparking your joy? What is really calling your interest, and really kind of build on it. So as something as simple as a game or a set of tools or whatever it might be, start to explore that and really take it on. Because that might lead to a specific area of study, might lead to an opportunity, it might lead to questions that you want answered, and definitely some research opportunity down the line. I want to give a couple more minutes to one more question, and I think this is the most important one that I would ask both of you. Out of all the institutions that are out here, why did you choose UC Davis? Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Well, one of the main reasons of why I chose UC Davis is, first of all, for the infinity of resources that we have on campus to support students. I mentioned some of them, like the Student Startup Center, the student organizations, and also like representation for minorities here at UC Davis. Also, since I'm a computer science major, I really wanted to stay close to the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, so the location is definitely another reason. And also because we have the biggest campus in the UC network.
And I think that's a key thing that you highlight is, like, regardless of the UC that you end up transferring to, you're going to get high quality education. Now, the other factors that I always advise students to consider is like the cost associated with heading home for the weekend, or are you going by train, and hitching a ride? Like how much does it cost to live around there? So there's multiple factors to consider beyond the prestige of a great program, amazing research opportunities, and beyond. Yusuf?
Yes. In addition to the resources that UC Davis offers, something that drew me to this campus was, for the lack of a better term, the vibe of it. UC Davis is called California's college town, and that causes it to have a very tight-knit student community. So it's very easy to take advantage of this environment to kind of find people who are like-minded, in order to like build your network and just build good experiences during college.
Absolutely. So thank you both for your answers, and for just really just being honest and sharing um, your experience with us. I did want to go ahead and allocate about like 4 minutes, 5 minutes to answer a couple more questions. So I see Linda added a few. So how many mechanical engineers transfer? So again, every year it's quite a competitive pool. TAG is one way that students are admitted, but it's not the only way. We admit way more students through the general admissions process and applications. Encourage students to apply widely so that you will understand what types of questions you have. or what options you have available. There's a second question here. Let's see. When a course is not articulated, will it be waived under tag and for general admissions? Yes. The key word here is that articulation agreements, which are on assist.org, are community college specific. These are not agreements across the entire district. If it's a multi-college district, these are specifically agreements to that community college. So the priority should really be if the course is not articulated and it is required and it's not offered, then we will go ahead and waive it for admissions, which means your first quarter at UC Davis, guess what you're going to be taking that first round, the class that it was not available at your community college. So thank you, David, for that question. There's another one that's coming in that says, if I take all my classes at a community college, will any of my credits be eligible to transfer? Or is there a cap for the amount of units that can be transferred? So not every course at your community college is considered UC transferable. I do advise to check in with the transfer center folks, with a counselor, to really review your eligibility for transfer, and also to discuss what your options are and plan that educational plan with transfer in mind. In regards to the unit caps for transfers, so if you've only attended a California community college, going past the 60 units is not an issue. If you have AP credits or IB credits plus community college work from California Community College, then you will hit and you will reach 60 much faster than somebody else doing a different major, because a STEM related major has very high unit classes already. Your priority should always be the courses that are required for minimum admissions and also the ones that are required for your particular major. Okay. So let me see here. So just for clarification, what is the primary difference between selective requirements and tag requirements? So selective major requirements, these are requirements across the board. So in order to even apply to that particular major, these are the courses and the specific GPA in those courses that you're going to need. Tag is just the added layer of maintaining a specific GPA or meeting it at the time of the application. So again, if you're planning to tag to any major in the College of Engineering, you need to have an overall GPA of a 3.5, and you also need to maintain a 3.5 GPAs. So you can't be out here giving me a whole bunch of C's in the fall semester, because you're going to stress me out. But really, really putting in the work. And again, tag is one way we admit students. We admit way more students through the general application process. Okay, so let's keep going. Can a transfer student do a double major? And if so, how may I do it? So one, you would submit an application for your primary major. And then if and when you're a student at UC Davis, then you'll meet with Javier and the amazing folks in the College of Engineering to discuss adding a major, studying abroad, adding a specialization. So there's quite a few routes. But again, you would have to be a student with us first in order for that to happen. I do advise that if you are going to discuss maybe adding a major, studying abroad, your area of interest, you could use your personal insight question responses to really highlight what you would like to do, regardless of the institution, if you're applying for more than one UC. But I'm just curious, Javier, I'm sure you run into this a lot. Can you elaborate a little bit more about double majors, or if not, adding a minor?
Yeah, and the change of major / double major requirements are actually unique for first year students versus our upper division transfer students as well. So oftentimes our major departments will require students, let's say, for example, you're getting accepted under electrical engineering, but you want to do a double major in material science and engineering as well. A lot of times those departments will require that you have all of the transfer admission requirements for your new double major in order to actually declare that second major. So kind of thinking about that, looking at those transfer major requirements, there's a really good page on our website called the COE FAQ page. I can throw that in the chat feature right here at the bottom of everyone's screen. There's some really good information about, double majoring as a transfer student or changing your major as a transfer student. The issue that we kind of brush up upon when it comes to our upper division transfer students is the 135 unit policy. Students cannot change their major once they hit 135 cumulative units earned at the college level. This doesn't include any AP or standardized testing units. We're only going to be looking at your UC transferable units and then the courses you take at UC Davis. So sometimes we kind of get up on that clock in a student's first year as a transfer student at UC Davis. So if you are interested in double majoring, right when you get accepted into the university, I would highly recommend scheduling an appointment with either myself or somebody in my office so we can kind of talk about it, maybe map out the process on your end to see if a double major would be feasible, and if so, how that might either extend or at least affect our kind of graduation period. Obviously, when it comes to double majoring, you are adding on another major and another series of classes that may not overlap with your current degree. So there is a possibility of that extending your timeline for graduation at UC Davis, but it happens all the time. We'll chat about it once you actually get accepted to UC Davis.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Javier. I'll pass it over to Joseph to kind of wrap things up for us.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to introduce some of the resources that you guys can take advantage of. So first, some transfer resources to take note of. Obviously, there's Assist. There you can check the different UC transferable courses and the articulation agreements between your community college and the UCs that you want to transfer to. And of course, there's the transfer admission planner, where you can map out your courses for community college, and also allows you to submit your tag application as well. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, your community college transfer center and the transfer opportunity program. And if you haven't attended a webinar of ours or any event of ours before, the Transfer Opportunity Program is a transfer preparation program with a mission to support and enhance the transfer culture for community college students enrolled at our partner community colleges. And we provide support that complements your college's efforts and initiatives to increase the number of transfer-ready students. And we offer a variety of different services. So you can schedule one-to-one appointments with your top advisors. You can also, we also host several workshops throughout the fall focusing on transfer preparation, UC applications, and PIQs. And we also collaborate with the other undergraduate admissions units to provide webinars and special events like this webinar tonight. And of course, if you haven't already visited us, feel free to pay UC Davis a visit. On our website, you could reserve a spot for a tour, and you can also participate, or you can also attend the student-developed virtual tour. Also, on the visit website, you can find different ways to connect with us through webinars and online events. We also have an admissions blog where we regularly post helpful content about UC Davis. So we have blogs like how to get into UC Davis and what I can do with my major. And we also have a page for information specifically for parents and family members. Next, I want to cover some of the timeline for transfer applications. So if you haven't already, make sure to take a picture of the slide or write down these dates. If you're not applying in fall 2025, keep note of these dates, but also make sure to check the calendars or check the dates and the timeline when you are applying. One thing I want to mention is the tag window is still open until September 23rd. And this year, the UC application filing period has been extended until December 2nd. Lastly, make sure to follow us on our different social medias. We have Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube. On there, we post regular content to help students learn more about UC Davis and connect with different resources that we provide. So if you could scan the QR code, you can check all that out.
Well, thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, Javier, for joining us today. There's a couple questions that I didn't get a chance to review, but please follow up with your assigned UC Davis rep for further instructions, feedback, and definitely to review your eligibility for admissions. So have a great evening, everyone. Please join us for the next couple of webinars. We dropped a couple links in the chat, and I will be sending the PDF version of these slides over to you. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.